What is up, everyone? Can you hear me? Good morning, and welcome to the stream. Can y'all hear me? We're using the YouTube chat this morning, all right? YouTube chat. Yeah, we're going to get straight into the scans and plans this morning. Got some stuff to talk about. What are y'all watching this morning? What you guys got? One sec. Let's get to... Okay, so we've got a few things going on right now. Let's get straight into the scans for now. Okay, let's look straight into the scans and plans for the day. We'll get into some stuff for the week later. If you're one of my wolves from Wolfpack, from the Discord, we're actually using the YouTube chat this morning. Okay, so questions, I won't see them if they're in the Discord chat this morning. So make sure you are using the YouTube chat. How's everyone's weekend? Y'all have a good weekend? Hopefully y'all had a good weekend. I became a new uncle, so that was pretty cool. And my family got sick, so that sucked. And I am just at the back end of that sickness, which sucks, but it's okay. It's not that bad, actually. So that was us, but nothing crazy. Let's see here. TVGN is our top percent gainer, first off, right? Float says 14 mil. Here's their PR from Friday, right? Friday afternoon, they put out 2 PRs. One extending pipeline prioritizing oncology and long COVID. And then after hours, they put out this PR on $1 billionaire revenue potential of their pipeline portfolio. So a very fluffy, very fluffy PR there. But you can see they did get some move. Let's do our, well, let's go through these charts actually really fast. Let's do the daily chart first. All right, always daily chart first. Looks like a SPAC merger or uplisting back in January of this year. Okay, right here, that's where this chart went from kind of just being nothing, a holding company, it looks like, to merging and then becoming this bio holding company, it looks like. Okay. Okay. Popped a big back in January. Straight fade since then. And I'm looking at big volume days, y'all. If you're newer here, I always forget that, especially on YouTube, we're dealing with a lot of newer people. So I have to kind of, if you're one of my wolves who already know these things, it's fine, right? But I have to kind of rehash these on Monday. And for those who know these things, it's probably good for you guys to rehash anyway. So daily chart first, right? Obviously, I've got some levels here that were being messed with earlier this year. 80.90 a buck. They were down to 25 cents and then put that PR out on Friday, and you can see they got a nice pop, right? All the way back to that resistance that I had at a buck earlier. When did I mark those levels? It had to be a big volume day. Probably would have been back here that last time I put those levels down here. So these levels haven't really been messed with since then, it looks like. Not too much, at least. I bet you I drew them here on this big volume day. Either way, let's get into some process really fast. Welcome to the stream. If you're just getting here this morning, welcome. We're just getting into scans and plans right now. Scans and plans. Is the volume okay? Cuba seems to say the audio of the stream is not sufficiently loud. He might be right. I did turn down my mic for my students last week. Should be fine, though. Is that better? Beta? Is that beta? Should I start yelling? No, we messed with the volume last week for trader therapy. Beta. Good. Thank you, guys. Thanks for the heads up, my friends. Good. Okay, TVGN, right? TVGN. Big gap up this morning. I don't really have too many plans for. Let's get into what we're gonna do really quick, just to save time, is get into the filings for all of these tickers really quick. For those who are like, what's filings and why and who cares? This is what rules what we do in terms of price action, volume. Volume only comes into tickers when they have shares to dump, essentially. 90% of the time, 95, 99% of the time, right? TVGN, not too many shares. Looks like overall risk low, 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 low. And what do I say when I mean dump? I mean that all of these stocks have a certain amount of shares to trade, right? Shares available to trade. That's called the float. In TVGN's case, here on my scanner, it says that there are 14 million shares that are tradable by the public, right? The public tradable float. That means we're all trading shares of this company today, but how many shares are there? There are only 14 million that can trade hands. Okay? There are only 14 million shares of this company that can trade hands. That's what happens, okay? But most times, these companies, they need to make money. The only way for them to actually make more money is to issue new shares. Problem is, for the people who own one of these 14 million shares, if they issue new shares, their shares become worth less. Does that make sense? They're being diluted. That's why we call it dilution. All right? That's what it's all about. Like if you're to dilute a liquid with water or something like that, you're watering it down. You're basically having your position watered down. Does that make sense? Let me know in chat, please. That's what offerings are. It's not that complicated. And when you get into trading, it kind of seems complicated. Like, what's all this crap? Fundamentals and what's warrant? What are warrants? Warrants outstanding, 1150. What is that? What are convertible preferred shares? And then when you start to read the filings themselves, they're really difficult to read. Okay. Okay. Let me see. That being said, it is what governs what we're doing. Okay. All these companies that put out the PR, they want to dump some shares or just get their float price up. There are other reasons that they put out PRs, obviously, than just to dump. But that is the overarching theme. In this case, let's just look at the shares that are dumpable on the big gappers this morning, right? And there aren't too many. As far as I'm concerned, it's a slower scan at the moment. Okay. Because I don't scan for a lot. My parameters right now are $500,000 in dollar volume. That's it. Nothing else on this scan. Y'all saw what the overall markets did last week, right? I don't know if y'all saw that, but this is where we're at right now. Look at that. Election year, right? Crushing it. Okay. Sorry, just looking at the losers real fast. Let's look at the tickers, then we're going to look at a few themes, and then we'll get to Q&A, and then I got to get to my people in the Discord. TVGN, what do we have here? Not too much. We just got warrants at $11.50. We've got convertible preferred shares at 10 cents and 4 cents, or $4, I'm sorry. So there are 500,000 shares to dump at $4, it looks like. Ah, here we go. These aren't registered, but they have August 2024 62-cent conversion. Okay, this is important, actually. These have not been registered yet. But they will be registered. And when they do register, they can dump. So on TVGN, nice gap up. Nice gap up. 62 cents. Right now, they're in the money on those. Does that make sense? So they've got about 10 million shares to dump when they register. All they have to do is put in their registration form for this. Okay. And then they'll be able to dump about 10 million shares. So I'll keep that in mind, that it hasn't been registered. They likely won't do it during the day. So this could still run and stuff like that. But at some point, that's coming back down this week. That's my opinion. Just my opinion. And for now, for this morning, obviously, we got the 69-cent level that's kind of forming some sort of pre-market support. Again, it's just pre-market support. Remember that. That's my 30-minute chart. Here's my hourly chart. Just kind of go through the time frames. 5 and 1 tell a little bit of a different story. Oh, not too different, though. Just kind of last gasp area here for me. I'll be watching. But again, here's the case of a ticker that has some shares to dump, but not until they register those shares. And if they do, it'll go back down sub 1 if it can get over 1. Okay. Only plans for me would be something like a 69-cent dip buy and sell back into high a day. My goal this week, by the way, just for my trading, is just to hit a bunch of singles, especially on these day trades, these day one trades. Okay. So there's TVGN. Says the float's 14. The float is actually already 21.6. So you can see, right? You can see even the float's not necessarily accurate on your scans. This is quite a bit bigger. Okay, next is Verb. We've got Verb gapping up pretty big at the moment. We got Verb gapping up pretty big at the moment. An 8K on the 11th. A letter to the shareholders this morning. Leading live stream social shopping platform. It's just a letter to shareholders, okay? Looks like they must have recently done a split. Oh, yeah. It is a split pump, right? They split pumped on Friday. This is a reverse split pump, y'all. Split pump Friday, okay? It's already to 14. So here's the deal. It's not tradable to me. There's no edge here, period. Very simple. When I see a chart like this, very simple. There's no edge. I don't trade it. Very dangerous too. And I hope it goes higher and higher and higher. It's always been the MO for me. If I'm not loading the split and in before the PR, or I don't have an amazing average, I don't chase these fucking things. It's the dumbest thing you can do, right? They're reverse split pumps and then they dump. That is it. They're not going to the moon. If they go to the moon, they're going to be there for 5 fucking seconds. Does that make sense? Just know that. And if you're chasing up there, you are on the wrong end of this bell curve. Right? Because that's what all these tickers basically are. They're a big bell curve that culminate and then go all the way back down on the other side. And there's only a small period of time to really make that money. In a more predictable, more in a safer fashion with good RR. It's just not here for me, okay? Here's their pre-split highs. I care about their post-split highs. And generally speaking, y'all, the post-split, here's their split. For those who don't know why, they did a 1 for 200 split last week on Wednesday. So last Wednesday, Verb's float, okay, this is Verb. Let's put Verb in. Let's see what they got here. Verb's float was not 0.73 million. It was 20x that, okay? It was 200 times that, right? It's like 200. What is it? I do the math in my head right now. It was 200 times that though, right? 15 million or 150 million or something like that. It's probably terrible math right now, but my brain's not working yet. Okay. So Verb, I just don't chase it. Very simple. The higher the better. Maybe a first green day bounce is all I've got for something like Verb. Okay. So that's it. I hope the higher the better the first green day bounce. I hope it rips balls. That's what I hope, and squeezes shorts. And then gives me a first green day bounce later this week. That's my plan on Verb. Also be looking in the splits, the more recent splits this week as well. Keep track of those. So TVGN, I've got one plan. It's just a dip buy single on a day one, which, gap and crap reversal. That's it. If this can open under VWAP and start to give me like the 60s, potentially I'll dip buy it. We'll see how the price action looks. Okay, but that's the plan for me on TVGN. I'm going to keep it quite simple. Right? And then it won't be a long-term idea for me only based off of that they can register 60-cent shares and then dump. And that's what you don't want to be in, right? You don't if they've already done their offering and now they're running and you know what the cards are, that's a little bit different. I don't want to be, when I know that an offering will come, that's usually when they drop, and it's usually post-run after they've ran it, right? That's the whole point. They need liquidity to dump these shares, y'all. Okay? XPawn. Let's look into XPawn. They hit my scan last week. Or no, a month ago or so. Yeah, with their big bounce here. Not a lot of volume. Oh, they split is what happened. I was like, where did the volume? I remember they were doing a crap ton of volume. Okay, so they're a reverse split pump, it looks like. Are they at 399 this morning? Shit. All right. And they didn't PR. Okay, so here's the example of a reverse split that is now running on no PR after a 3-day fade. Okay. So XPawn did a split. They haven't PR'd, and they're just moving because they did a split, and some people are buying it, which is awesome, but also not for me. Not after it's ran. Excuse me. It hasn't ran post-split yet, though, but... Post-split high here. I like to mark that out. It's about $3. The lows were about $2. It was a little 3-day mini fade. There wasn't a lot of volume or fade, and now they're just moving it up. And I find sometimes some of the more popular bottom bouncing stocks, your XPawns, but some of the stocks that trade a crap ton of volume before they split end up being good candidates post-split, if that makes sense, where people know the ticker and they will come back and trade it. That's just my opinion. As for what I would do with XPawn today, it's nothing. It's really nothing at the moment. Okay. Where's my edge? It's already got down into the low 2s and it's already been up to 4 now. So for me, it's already ran 100% post-split, held the split lows from day one, and now they're moving. So it's a split that's already kind of going for me. Hopefully it rips. That's how I feel. The more that can move today, the more that I'll be able to trade all week, right? The better Monday that I have, because I rarely trade on Monday mornings. That's been my whole career, by the way. Okay. Outside of when I have a firm grip on price action, or if we have sector momentum or something like that. Speaking of sector momentum, let's check out oil. Let's just check out like crude really fast, see where that's sitting this week. Kind of consolidating near this latest push into the 70s for now. Also running into lower highs for crude, okay? I'm not sure what's going on with Israel, Iran. Maybe someone can fill us in really quick. But for now, oil's just kind of hanging out, and subsequently so is Indo, right? Indo pushed last week, and we went over this during pre-market last week. Husa, I think, was my second favorite of this sector. So if oil gets going, Indo and Husa will be viable again, in my opinion. The other sector that we had were Chinese stocks, right? Remember that? What was going on with China? What was that? What's their index that I was looking at last week? 000, I think 300, right? Yeah, it is. CSI Chinese index. And this was their day today, right? This was last week, if you guys remember, and all the Chinese stocks pulled with the index, and now they're kind of holding up. So we'll see what happens with like your duos who did do an offering last week, right? What Yuxin, look at that. It's kind of flagging, holding up a little bit. KXN. And these are really shitty stocks, guys. Don't forget that. Most of the Chinese stocks are like shell company Chinese pump and dump. So you do have to be really, really careful. But if, and it's not going to be today for me, it doesn't look like. But if tomorrow I wake up and the Chinese indices are going crazy, yeah, I'll look to see if there's some decent spots to swing some Chinese stocks again. Okay. Now that they've kind of established themselves as a sector moving with the market, right? Baba is like my big cap leader that I was watching. And I was using Baba and the Chinese index to either push or lay off of the Chinese stocks the last few weeks. It's been working pretty well. For this morning, Baba is gapping down slightly, okay? Markets are solid. We've got the Chinese and oil sectors, which are tricky, but they're kind of on the back burner for me right now, and I am watching. JTAI for some reason. JTAI is a bottom bounce and a first graded bottom bounce too, right? So they ran pretty big and got slapped really big, okay, last few days. JTAI. This was Thursday's action. Where they ran from 8 cents to 30 cents. It's a massive move. And anytime I see a bottom, this is what I have dubbed a bottom bouncer. Been trading these for so long. Anytime, and I teach this specifically, if it goes from sub 10 or 10 cents to 25, 30 cents, generally speaking, you're going to have a pretty quick dip buy over the next day or two back at 10 cents, and you don't dip buy until then. I don't. So to me, something like JTAI, I hope it has a nice bounce, but that was nasty. You know, like when I see stuff like this, tough, right? So I'm probably going to leave that alone. That's really it of our top percent gainers this morning, you guys and gals. Are there any other tickers you want me to look at really fast? Teresa said, U.S. will send a missile defense system and troops to run it to Israel and defend against Iran. Okay, thank you. But nothing too crazy. U.S. about to deploy some troops. Thank you, Dubsy. Appreciate you guys. Oh, God, I said they don't like each other very much. I like that comment. That's funny. And you were right, they don't. So they're still going at it. Okay. So keep eyes on oil this week. Keep eyes on that for sure. LBPH, that looks lit to me like a acquisition. That's what acquisitions look like. So that looks like an ignore. Let's double check the news. Equity of 2.6 billion. They're being bought. Nice. Higher price anyways. So it looks like a Monday morning that's a little bit slower for now, where we're going to let some things shake out. TVGN, if I can smack a little single, that's all I'll really look for this morning. Just a tiny single there, nothing crazy. And then seriously, let Monday morning pan out. That's what I'm going to do this morning. I see some Bitcoin stocks on the scan too. So maybe keep eyes on that. Right? Here's some Bitcoin stocks and ETFs. See some AI stocks too, but Bitfarms, Fun Hut usually pop up during Riot BTBT. There they are. Yep. Coin, right? I see SoundHound and a bunch of AI stocks, which is making me think maybe Nvidia is having a day or something like that this morning. Yeah, they are. I mean, they are gapping up. That's for sure. So maybe we see the AI sector get going, which I would freaking love. You know, SoundHound's been holding up in the 5s. I hate them and love them. Questions. Markets are open. Sorry, a little bit lackluster on the energy this morning. Like I said, I am really getting over some, the whole family had stomach sickness this weekend, essentially. In other words, there's a lot of puke going around. It's not fun. And then I think it hit my stomach last night, and I have a pretty good stomach, so it pretty much took care of it, but it was a rough night still. Okay. Any questions? Last questions. Can I look at Randy for later in the week? Trade or even today, Murray asked. Don't see it. Looks random. Don't see it. Looks random. Just 8 mil on the 8 mil on the day today. I see. Huh. Gap up. That's not bad. Let me see. Let's see what we got going on. It's not a bad looking chart. Their PR from Friday was that they're going to participate in a virtual summit. And that is going to be this Thursday. I don't hate it. I don't hate ideas like this where I know they may be that there's likely a PR on Thursday. Okay. So there's likely a PR on Thursday. Remember that. That's what this is kind of moving on this morning. It's not a lot of volume for now. Oh, it's not the worst. But it's also one of those ones that can kind of fail just based on that PR today, and then you might be able to trade it tomorrow or the next day. So just don't get caught up chasing it. That's all, because it should fade over the next few days potentially. I have also seen them run, however, low key into news like that and then be sell the news Thursday. So there are a couple of different ways that can work, right? And I've literally traded this PR of there is news they are going to be presenting. I've traded that PR so many times, and it's been hit or miss. There are times where I've bought that PR and literally no news ever comes out, and then it starts to fade when no news comes out. Does that make sense? Day by day. So there's that. And then usually like you capitulate and then some news will come out. It's weird. Or news will come out that morning, that morning of their presentation, they'll put the news out. So there's a few ways to look at it, but I'm going to put it on my watch list anyways for the week. So thank you. And maybe give you a little time to do a little bit of due diligence, right? Hopefully that answer will help you. Hey, Jake, what's up, brother? Yeah, I got you, man. There's a lot of that out there. You know what? Let me see. Is Tanner in here? Where are my people at? Steele? I'll have someone put a link to it here. Usually there's a link down at the bottom. Usually there's a link. I think if you go to the link in the description, that's probably the best route right now. And same for all of you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we send emails out, I think, every day. So if you guys haven't been getting them, it's likely in your spam. You may want to change it to not be spam, because we switched our provider who does our internet stuff and our email stuff. Trevor Bauer, that's funny. Who's got baseball kids in here? Okay. It's a good channel. All right, we got to get going here in a sec. 1 second, my friends. Warrants at Randy at 308. Thanks, Mr. Rad. Appreciate you, buddy. Hey, Roland, is that scanner on TradingView too, like the charts? No, the scanner is scans, y'all. This is scans. SCA NZ. It's just what I've used my whole career. I've always liked it a lot. It's the only scanner I use. It's also the only news feed that I use usually. And then I'll use TradingView for charting. See, 1 second. Yeah, it's in the description, buddy. Just hit that. Okay. Verb halted up. Sick. Nice. Get you some, Billy. That's the worst entry in all of stock trading, in my opinion. Right there. That is just... That's when I started. That is just where I lived. Right? Specifically right there. You know? I've made it my mission over the last, well, now 6-7 years now to sell there. Figure out how do I sell there. And that's what made me profitable, you guys. Not buying there. That's what kept me chopping around. And, you know, these are the positions where I call it like instant gratification, right? Which we're all kind of wired for anyways, and think that that's what this game is that we buy there and then it goes up and we sell and we just make money. That's what day trading is. And it is. It certainly could be, right? But it's not sustainable. For me, it was never, and I didn't know that because this is what you're being taught to do. But it was never a strategy that was sustainable to me. Okay? In terms of like, if this fails and gaps down and there's a little panic, it immediately drops super hard to the point where you're like, sorry, I did not mean to draw some weird triangle here. Yeah, these are the areas where you end up with, first of all, not being able to control risk. Say you want to use the breakout level. It's a lot of people will use 15. It can snap so far down so quickly that you can't use 15. If you put a stop at 15 and there's a bunch of stops there, you might not get stop filled till 13, depending on the float size, right? There's a lot of wacky things that go down with these tickers. So for me, this was always the worst. And the second, I'm talking about the second this breaks down below 15, my short seller friends step in. Some of them step in into the parabolics too. So you get this whole nature up here that's just leads to difficult trading dynamics, right? That being said, I hope this gaps up and goes to like 20 and whatever else, right? And it'll give us a first bet, much better first green day, which is ultimately what I'm looking for here at this point, okay? Right into the post-split highs, which I talk about as being a key level, right? Okay, my friends. Okay, my friends. It's that time. I got to roll. If you are one of my wolves, I'm going to catch you guys in the wolf stage. Okay? Wolf stage right now. And we'll continue our live trading webinar for the day. If you are not, and you're one of my YouTube people, I love you guys. Thanks for joining this morning. Hope you guys have an amazing, amazing week. Okay? Stay safe out there. It's a little bit slower for the time being, just on my scan at the moment. And we'll see what things look like later into this afternoon. Okay? So that's that. Everyone have an amazing week. Have an amazing trading week. For those who want to join up, we'll see you guys. You can hit the link down below. I think there's a discount for the first 10 people or something like that. And we'll go from there. The rest of you will see next Monday for our stream. And then stay tuned for some of the lessons that we got coming out for you. So love you all. Stay safe. Thanks for joining me this morning. Hopefully I answered some decent questions for you. And we'll push on later. All right. Love you all. Stay safe. Catch you guys in a week. Peace.